Hey guys, it's really happening. The first phase of our Daring Faith, and it's happening right here in our kids' chapel. We are so blessed to have a really great construction team doing this project for us. And one of the supervisors of this team is our very own Tim Reyes. Some of you guys might know him as our burrito maker, our quesadilla maker. He works in the kitchen on Sundays, and his wife works in kids' church, so they're part of our kids' team, and he's got a special interest in this project. So I just want to take you inside really quick. So right here I'm standing where our stage used to be. What you might find really interesting is half of our stage was dirt. And if you can imagine, this was full of cabling and wiring, and it was a web of mess. All of our rock wall has been pulled down, and they just put, wood up here to protect our stained glass. Our stained glass will be repurposed in a future phase, which I'm really excited to tell you guys about. So the electrical, the lighting, the mechanical, everything that's behind the walls has been poor in this building. And this is a very old part of the building, the oldest part of the building. So one of the things that we're doing is we're laying this trench for all new electrical. So our kids are gonna be really safe. Everything's gonna be up to code. And our new sound booth. Imagine wires that belong here and there that aren't dangerous, that are gonna be properly placed. This is gonna be one phenomenal space for our kids. VIPs is what we say. And this will be the next part of our Daring Faith project, is this wing of our old nurseries. This is a very old part of the building as well. And you can see that we've got all of our electrical cord and our one little window unit in here. Crazy thing is, the way this building was built is we have outlets that are light switches, and they're limited, and that's it. And then we've got these old, cement walls. So it's a cold room in the winter, it's a hot room in the summer, and there's a lot that we're gonna do to this space. So we're still in our nursery hall. This hall services about 40 kids on a weekend. And we always say that this is holy ground. This is where dreams are made. This is where destinies are set. There are angels that work in this nursery. These workers, these volunteers work tirelessly and try so hard to keep everything clean and tidy in spite of the oldness of everything. And so, we will be repurposing these rooms for nurseries so our nurseries can expand and grow, and they'll have more space for these kids. And then, we've got our playroom that we're gonna upgrade, and over here is our toddler nursery that will expand, and this whole wing will have adequate electrical, heating, cooling, ventilation, lighting, a great safe place for our babies to be. Here we are in our backyard hall. This is where our pre-Ks and kinders meet. And on an average weekend, we service about 80 kids in these two rooms. And believe me, it is full and lively. And the plan is to make these two rooms one. So it's a large, adequate space for our stories and our dramas, and where the Bible comes to life, and where small groups happen and kids are prayed for. And this would be another piece of our Daring Faith renovation. So here we are in our cafe, or our multi-purpose room. And there's a lot of action that happens in here. We feed about 200 kids a week in here. Sometimes more, sometimes a little less, but on average about 200 kids. And there's a reason we feed kids in kids' church. So much of what Jesus did was around food, around the table. Miracles happened when he multiplied fish and loaves. And we've got so many kids desperate for miracles. And so we just do things really natural, family style around food, because we believe really big God moments happen at those times. And so another phase of our Daring Faith will be upgrading this room. This room, many of you have been in it, and you know that it kind of makes you a little crazy because of the echo, and the more people you get in here, the louder it gets, and you can't hear each other. It gets to be a little insane, and so it will be a really functional spot where you could actually converse and hear each other, and just a nice, warm, soft place. So in addition to our cafe or multi-purpose room, this is our kitchen. And our kitchen will get an upgrade. Some of you may know that we serve 100 volunteer burritos a week. We serve over 200 kids a week. And this place produces a lot of deliciousness on a limited amount of burners and griddles and counter space. And so this kitchen will actually be upgraded to a commercial kitchen, bring us up to code. We'll get a very large pantry, and it'll be super functional for the community of kids and volunteers that we serve on a weekly basis. So here we are in the welcome area, which we call the square. You know, squares are where life happens. This is where you connect, you get information. This is where you get to know the most recent grandbabies and who's getting married and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's a hustle and bustle kind of place. And in here, I'm really excited. This is going to be really cool. So we are going to make 2 distinct entrances to this church. I know you guys are saying we have no distinct entrances. This we know. Nobody knows how to come in this church or go out of this church. Well, after we do this phase, everybody's going to know. So on this wall, this one faces the front, which is on Valley. It's going to be a whole new, very high entrance that's so noticeable. This is where you come in. Welcome, come. It's also our exit. Then on this wall, this is the wall that faces the backyard, directly across from the other one. It's also going to be an equally high entrance. Welcome, come in. But this one is where we're going to repurpose our stained glass window. And it is going to be phenomenal and beautiful. When that sun hits it, it's going to make the square look amazing. This whole room is going to get a whole new facelift, new entrances, new exits, and it's going to just make sense. So here we are out in our front of the church, right on Valley. And you know, as God provides and monies come in, the hope is that we could update this building on the outside. We would paint the bricks, we would do some landscaping. You guys know that our parking is in great need of repair. And of course the list goes on and on and on. And the list evolves as needs change. But you know, the main thing is that this building is such a gift from God, and it really is a tool. And you know, we just so believe that the church is the hope of the future. We want Heart for the World to far outlive us. You know, we believe that this church and so many churches that love and serve God, they're the hope of the future. They're the hope for this world. It's what the world is desperate for, what the world is crying out for. We want this church to be a place that outlives us and our kids and even our grandkids. But we want this place to have a reputation that this is where the presence of God is. And you can bring whatever it is. Bring your shattered pieces. Bring your broken hearts. Bring your abundance. And see what God does when you put what you have, whether it be broken or whether it be much. Watch what God does when you put it in His hands. He can do things that are beyond what we could ever imagine or believe.